Good, man. You up? You want a straight cup? Wednesday? Yeah. We're at which one? Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. The big one. The big one. Always the big one. That's the biggest game. Yeah. So they said the big gun. Are you going to be there? Yeah, we're there. Oh, let's go. He's in Torrance.
Hey? Are you on any midweek cup? I'm doing North Carolina. Oh, you're up on the hill, baby. What's the later with Northern? Get reacquainted. Kind of killed it, got the home draw, so I was up here. But... Has he got Lambert too? Hey? Has he got Lambert coming back to That will.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. A very warm welcome to the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, the climax of round 16 in the NPL New South Wales men's competition comes at its conclusion. Blacktown City hosting the Marconi Stallions on this Sunday afternoon. Alex Molchanoff delighted to be joining you for this one. Opportunity knocks for the hosts. This after their win in Wollongong last weekend. It's left them just 6 points from the league leaders, and they could halve that gap with a win here this afternoon. But Marconi will feel there's still some way from their best. They established themselves as the competition's strongest side with their form in the second half of last season. If history repeats in 2025, there will be nothing standing between them and a first ever New South Wales premiership. Blacktown have been somewhat of a bogey side for Marconi in their recent history. It was their victory at Marconi Stadium that handed the premiership to Rockdale last August. And Jacob Kresnar's equaliser in the 93rd minute back in round one means the Stallions haven't blown Blacktown's colours in the regular season since 2023. They haven't won at this ground since the COVID-affected campaign of 2020. Plenty to play for, no love lost between these two sides either. We've had 5 red cards in their last 4 meetings. Let's see how each tries to best the other this afternoon with a look at the two teams. Blacktown City making 2 changes from that 1-0 win over Wollongong last weekend. Jack O'Brien's winner coming with just 11 minutes to play. Caden Henderson resumes at goal behind another back 5 for Mark Crittenden. Joe McKinley at right wing back. Jackson Bandiera on the left. In the centre of defence, Lachlan Campbell, Nick O'Brien, and the returning Betten Berry in for the injured Grant Lynch this afternoon. The midfield 4 with Jack O'Brien and Danny Choi, the wide players. Marty Fernandez comes into midfield alongside Maxim Yesh, and Travis Major leads the line. For Mark, if it's not broken, why fix it? That's been the attitude of Peter Sekenis. He goes with the same 11 that bested Sutherland a week ago. James Hilton in goal. TJ Burney, Lockie Griffiths, Brandon Vella and George Daniel, the back 4. Mate Busek, Lockie Bayliss, Liam Yuli and Dom Costanzo through the middle, with Damien Sekenis partnering Marco Jesic up front. Plenty of recent history between these two. Familiarity has brought contempt. We'll see if that's the storyline again here this afternoon. Marconi will be hoping it's rather more straightforward for them than it has been over the last couple of seasons against this opposition, with the exception of the semi-final they played out at Marconi Stadium, which they were able to win by a scoreline remarkably of 6-2. But it's Blacktown who have started on the front foot here. We'll see both sets of players going into challenges passionately this afternoon. Plenty of former teammates and switch over between the two different clubs that will bring you over the course of the broadcast today as well. Thank you for making us part of your Sunday afternoon. Absolute pleasure to have your company. Rain has stayed away in the west of Sydney. We got smashed during the week with plenty of wet weather. If you're watching from up in northern New South Wales and battling the floods, our thoughts very much with you. The dry pitch today, which will, Blacktown hope, favour them. Didn't hear a couple of weeks ago, though. Thrashed by 5-0 on their last outing against Sydney FC. Performance Mark Crittenden was not best pleased with, but they bounced back well last weekend. So weekends that Marconi lost their first game of the season as well in round 14 against the Wollongong Wolves. Lachlan's got the difference. Such as the depth of Marconi and their commitment to excellence. It was just their 3rd loss from their past 33 matches. Unbeaten run that stretched over the opening half of the season, put them in pole position to take home a premiership. They're looking to further that desire this afternoon. Dom Costanzo stepping into an offside position there. Well, you've seen play stopped. Experienced officiating crew. Joe Moss is our central referee, assisted by Cameron Wright and Aaron Block. Rowan Fisher, the 4th official. Big slate of results yesterday that Marconi had their eye on as well. Rockdale were sat at 1-1 against St George City before a flurry of late action there to run out with all 3 points and close the gap at the top to 2 as we begin here this afternoon, but Marconi been holding that 5-point advantage since the defeat to Wollongong a couple of weeks ago. Know the importance of this fixture. They were very much the better team in the opening round of the season. Last time these two met at Marconi Stadium. Jacob Kresnar's late goal, his first game for the club, came in stoppage time. It was Blacktown City's only shot of the match. Shot on target of the match, I should say. Don't want that to be the narrative here again today. Well, if that's the case, then Marconi will run out winners. It'll be critical to stop them scoring early, as they did against Sutherland a week ago as well. It's been the basis of their good form, is playing from in front. Tyrone Burney, who's paraded down this right wing for the majority of his youth career, and he starts in first grade as a Blacktown City junior. Smurf's move away from the club has really seen his form go to another level under Peter Sikenes. It's an astute signing, and he's putting his name forward as one of the best fullbacks in the competition at the moment. 23-year-old Lockie Griffiths playing it out to the aforementioned Bernie. Fernandez tasked with trying to track him down, but he darts to the byline. He's done well there, Tyrone Burney. The cross has a bit too much weight, but Costanzo keeps the attack alive. Ben Berry back in from the start today, doing the clearing, and Danny Choi brought down a bit of a gamesman-like fashion from George Daniel. Didn't want the attack in transition to get started too quickly. The other key result at the top came on Friday night with the Spirit losing by 2-0 to the informed Sydney FC. Out at the Illingdon Sports Centre. It has just given Marconi a little more breathing room from the teams immediately below them in the table. At least scattered the pack somewhat. Blacktown getting a victory today would change that narrative again. Mentioned in the pre-game. It's been a while since Marconi have won at this ground. Haven't been able to do so in their last 4 visits. Going back to that COVID-affected campaign of 2020, when Blacktown certainly were not at their best iteration. The experience of Marko Jesic trying to wriggle his way around Ben Berry. No foul, but a throw-in going the way of the Stallions. Both players wanted the foul to go that way, and perhaps that's why our referee has just decided a throw-in was a nice little leveler. Exciting opening 5 minutes or so. It's Daniel goes down under the challenge, this time of Jared McKinley. In and out of the side for Mark Gruttenden in his first season in Blacktown City colours, signed from Spirit FC in the off-season. He's through the centre of the park as he was there, but most often in this wing-back role. Marconi have been so deadly from these set-piece situations over the course of the season, over the course of the last 12 months, really. Griffiths always a target. Brandon Vella, who's slotting in at centre-half again today. Anton Mlinaric likely to be out for the remainder of the season. Ball's whipped into the near post, and it's McKinley clearing the free kick, which he conceded. Marconi will do it all again from set piece a little further high up the pitch from the corner. Not the best delivery from Costanzo there, but he's capable of plenty more. This is a situation where Blacktown haven't been at their best this season. Set pieces, such an attribute for them in their 2022 championship winning campaign. It's a little ropey in 2025. Costanzo's radar's a little off in the early stages. Not the most proficient of his 2 set pieces to begin the afternoon. A tactical change for Mark Crittenden to go back to this back 5, which he started the season with not too much success. Nick O'Brien has been shifted back there. They managed to get a clean sheet last weekend against that dangerous Wolves attack, although missing Lachlan Scott. It's the difference maker the week beforehand against Marconi. Gave Lockie Griffiths plenty of headaches, who's been largely faultless in his Marconi career to this point. It's probably his toughest day in the sky blue of the Stallions. Danny Choi's had plenty of involvement in this fixture down the years, but his radar, like Costanzo's, just a little off to begin the afternoon. Now here it is, Lachlan Griffiths. It's on the podcast circuit this week with Champagne Football. There's a number of good podcasts you can find around the place. Good insight with his former Rockdale Illingdon teammate, Harrison Devonish Mears. As well, you can find the New South Wales official podcast. Just search Kickoff, NPL, NSW, wherever you get your podcasts. Another episode of that due to drop in the next couple of weeks. Choi. Well, Daniel thought he had him handled for just a moment and did enough that the touch was too heavy, even for someone with the pace of the Korean-born Blacktown striker to chase down. Fernandez, who's been reinstated to the starting lineup again today, turned up a couple of good chances in that game against Sydney FC a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't part of Mark Crittenden's starting 11 last weekend. Straight back in for Sebastian Hayward, who's dropped to the bench today. Back to chase down Marko Jesic, who backheels it into him. Fernandez sprung into the scene with Marconi at this ground as a 19-year-old. Scored a fantastic solo goal in that game we talked about during the COVID pandemic. Marconi's last win at this ground with 3-0. His goal that day was the pick of the bunch. Henderson above Sekenes and Griffiths to claim the football. Campbell just giving Griffiths a little shoulder as he made his way back into his defensive position as well. See that there is an undercurrent of dislike between these two teams. Talked about the red cards have been shared between them over the last couple of years in this fixture. Joe Moss will be hoping his afternoon doesn't require involvement to that level, but no doubt if the situation arises, they're there to stand up to the task. Jack O'Brien has found a real purple patch of form in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The initial ball wasn't the best, but Choi has managed to squeeze it out to McKinley on the right-hand side. Now Ben Berry. Brother Adam is back on the bench today. He's had a long stint out with injury. Crittenden will be happy to welcome him back into the starting lineup in the coming weeks as well. Such a key player in the heart of their midfield and retaining the ball and starting attacks. Fella above McKinley, conceding the throw. McKinley's throw, more in hope than anticipation towards Major, but it has won inside another attacking corner. I've had a glut of these in the early stages down both ends. It's Maxim Yesh over to deliver this one, the left footer off the right. He's swinging in towards James Hilton. One from the training ground, and Choi forces a very good save from Marconi's custodian. Not the most difficult, but he did have to be sharp. There were plenty of bodies in front of him. His positioning as much as his reaction to the strike, meaning he was able to tip it around the post. Nicely drawn up set piece from Blacktown. Go more direct this time around. It's a deep one towards Berry, but without enough power. It's Marconi's Gloveman who's there again. has been the outstanding goalkeeper in this competition over the last 12 months. James Hilton wasn't able to pick up any of the goalkeeping awards last season, but he's right in the frame in 2025 behind the sturdiest defence in the competition, which Marconi were a year ago as well. Record has been exemplary for a long period of time in their own half. Bayless had a fine afternoon, or evening rather, at Wynn Stadium last weekend. Busek been in a bit of goal scoring form lately, but he's not able to wriggle his way past Marty Fernandez, and the little tug as he gave it away. Fernandez got the decision and the free kick. Lone fixture of the afternoon in the NPL New South Wales men's competition, the game that was slated to be played between the Central Coast Mariners and Manly United up at Plume Park, forced to be postponed. The rain we have around Sydney was called off before the weekend even got underway, so this is it for action from the men's side this afternoon. Got a slate of 5 women's games coming up immediately at the conclusion of this one at 5 o'clock if you haven't had your fix of football for the weekend. So Kenneth battling with Berry. It was almost a rugby tackle, well, I thought, from Ben Berry, but the decision's gone against the Kenneth. Can feel a little unfortunate about that. A little unlucky. Father Peter is making that point clear to the 4th official. Solid win from Liam Yulee. That kind of uncompromising midfield player. So proficient with a ball at his feet as well. Box-to-box player in the truest sense. Lovely ball from Nick O'Brien. Just give McKinley something to run for. He's got the better of George Daniel. Choi. Got to be so careful around him at the edge of the penalty area. Between Daniel and Bayless, they managed to force him back. Angle of attack is switched towards Bandiera. Fernandez. Again, it's not quite happy with what he's seen in terms of intensity. The press comes from Costanzo. That's more the energy I'm sure he's looking for. Coach of the Year in 2024. He led Marconi to that championship. Sort of ended the chapter on their relegation from the competition in the mid-2010s. So Kenneth blocked off by Lachlan Campbell, who was in no position to make a play at the ball. Marconi making the point that had stopped a fairly promising attack. Don't want those cards to be shown sooner rather than later. A team who are so dangerous in transition, and that's a part of the game that Blacktown have struggled with at times. It was noted against Sydney FC. The directness of their play was a real problem for Crittenden's team. Lack a little bit of leg speed in their defence. Nick O'Brien shifted back there to give them a little bit more of that pace between the two stoppers. It's worked in the early stages here, but plenty of football still to be played. Bernie's throw, only as far as Yesh, and Bayless got something towards goal. It wasn't the cleanest strike, but it required clearing. Ben Berry was there to ensure Caden Henderson didn't have a save to make. Building pressure through set pieces, though, the Stallions. If their form this season from these situations is anything to go by, it's only a matter of time if Blacktown continue to concede them. Bayless entrusted with the responsibility. Again, his delivery is a little short, and that Yesh was able to clear as the furthest defender forward. This time it's Bandiera having to do the tidying up. Bayless's pressure forces him into a clearance, and Marconi will have a throw from which to base themselves now. Blacktown being pegged back in their own half over the last 5 minutes or so. Campbell through the back of Jesic this time. And Campbell's going to be careful because he's pointing out that he's had 2 free kicks blown against him. He's quite right. And Joe Moss is asking for a further conversation here. Walking a fine tightrope. Blacktown City centre half. So the Cards are not too far away. Didn't expect anything different in this fixture given its recent history. Both sets of players were all smiles before the game. As I said, there's plenty of familiarity. Players who have been different teammates at one time or another. All that is forgotten when they get out on the football field. Now Blacktown with more defending to do. Can Bayless get the delivery right? That's what has been lacking for Marconi in the opening 18 minutes or so. It's a better weighted ball. It's Bandiera back there to nod it behind. Corner count stacking up very quickly. Noted as well how important Marconi's early leads have been for them this season, allowing them to rest on that strong defence. Yes, it's got a head on it at the near post. I don't think it made its way all the way to Henderson. Certainly had his eyes wide. The Blacktown City goalkeeper. Lovely turn from Costanzo. Wriggle away from McKinley. Fernandez across in cover. Choi joining in, and now Daniels taking up the attack. Slide rule pass for Marco Jesic. Skipper happy to retain possession with Griffiths and then Yuli. Awkward one for TJ Burney. And Blacktown have seen out the most dangerous facet of that attack. Yuli's made the run from deep and he's in the best position to get to this. Delivery not able to pick out Jesic, only half away from McKinley. And Busek, who can strike them. That one was deflected away though. Blacktown scrambling well in the opening 20 minutes, but having to do probably a little more of it than they'd like. Fernandez's dribbling power is one of his best assets, but even he wasn't able to wriggle free there. Turnovers a dime a dozen at the moment from both teams. A little bit scrappy. Campbell's trying to get his team going the right way. Lost his balance as he played it. Made it easy for Griffiths to pick off. Costanzo. Jesic has timed his run. He's stayed on side. Campbell back to do the defending. It's Burney! And a very good save from Henderson. What a storyline that would have been. Tyrone Burney with a very good strike. Blacktown keeper was up to the task. Tips it round the post. First clear chance of the game for the Stallions. Been building that pressure. It's that second phase build-up play as well. Beautifully crafted. Run from deep from Jesic. Cross into a dangerous area. Costanzo's delivery. He's got to sort that out. Let's Blacktown off the hook. Peter Sekenis has just sent out the message that James Bayless is going to take the responsibility from both corners after a trio of pretty poor ones from Tom Costanzo. It's a player with such talent that can turn this game. Costanzo family history at Marconi goes back as far as his father Angelo. He's big on the South Australians scene for a long time in his career. Played in Adelaide United's inaugural A-League premiership back in 2005-2006. Thomas had trials at A-League clubs, but hasn't quite been able to make the breakthrough at that level. He's been one of the outstanding wingers in this competition for the best part of 3 or 4 seasons now. The touch will come. Just see for Marconi how long it takes, because he is such a creative fulcrum for them. Daniel diving out defensively. Fernandez left a foot in on him as well. Play on for now, McKinley. Choi, who's flitted out to the left, and Hilton's off his line here. Just didn't fall for Danny Choi. He's then looking for the ball through to Yash. It still might fall for him. Sloppy bit of defending for Marconi. Not something you say too often. TJ Burney able to bail them out of trouble. The momentum has swung Blacktown's way on the back of one clean counter-attack. Now the press comes from Marconi. I haven't seen as much of it this season as we did in the second half of last year, often because they haven't had to. Blacktown have slipped through it this time. Choi was looking for his old partner in crime, Travis Major. Can't remember having a touch of the football to this point, playing as the striker furthest forward. No, it's Jesic down the other end. The two experienced heads leading their respective sides. The two skippers. Costanzo left it for Bayless, caught it nicely. Just flying away to the left-hand side and clear of danger from a Blacktown City perspective. Game starting to open up a little bit. Still scoreless through 25 minutes, but both goalkeepers have been called on to make smart saves. Choi taken late as Griffiths stepped out of defence. He had to collect something, having come all that way. O'Brien wasteful. Scratch of the head from the midfielder, turned striker, turned midfielder. Been put back in there by Mark Crittenden this season after being the leading scorer for Blacktown over the last 2 seasons. Not up amongst that discussion this year. Has rediscovered some goal-scoring form, funnily enough, with his move back into midfield. Major entrusted with more of the central striking responsibilities. See him just leaving something in on Lockie Griffiths as he came across in cover. Burney taking his time over the throw. It's his shot that forced that good save from Caden Henderson 5 or 10 minutes ago. It's the closest Marconi have come to opening the scoring. I've had the better of the opening 25 minutes. But Blacktown's defence has held solid for now. Burney's throw. Again, it's not dealt with by Blacktown. Sekenis on the turn. Superb! Finally, a set piece rings results for the Stallions, and it's another early lead in a premiership defining fixture against one of the chasers. They have landed the first blow again. Such a smart piece of striking play from Damien Sekenis. Just gave himself a yard to get the strike away, and Henderson couldn't tip it around this time. Sneaks in at the far post. And Marconi, as it seems routinely now, have a lead to defend. Blacktown have been so dogged. Come clearly with a plan to just hold out, make sure they were putting plenty of pressure on Marconi when they were able to get forward. They have been doing that. The key against Marconi this season seems to have been getting that first goal. They trailed on round 1, managed to get the late equaliser. Well, the task is going to be very difficult if they're to do it again. Although it's down the right end now. Fernandez drew a few players to him and then Choi straight into an offside position. Jasic's opening goal in the return fixture between these two in the first game of the season came after just 3 minutes. It was a little bit of a longer wait this time around, but it's his strike partner, Sekenes, who goes to the top of their scoring ranks in the league this season, despite having a little bit of time out through suspension. The red card picked up in the cup competition, but his 5th strike underlines what a terrific replacement he's been for the departed James Temolkovsky. Took that honour as the highest scorer a year ago. In fact, he was second to Jasic. But it's been the front two. In unison, almost going goal for goal at this stage of the season. As we tick towards the half-hour mark. Stallions continuing to put themselves in positions to win games. They don't often err. Sekenes off the shoulder again. Giving Nick O'Brien some headaches. Lays it off for Costanzo. And still the wrestling had gone on behind play. So Nick O'Brien is pinged for the free kick, and he's going to get the first yellow card of the afternoon as well, for good measure. Maybe as much for the protest as the challenge itself. The 24-year-old. Another one of these versatile players that Crittenden has at his disposal. Sekenes is getting towards him early and often. He's had plenty of defending to do. And so another Stallion set piece. Costanzo has taken on the responsibility. Deflected off the wall. Busek trying to hit it almost from the exact same spot that Sekenes scored the opener from. This time Yesh is out to make the block. But it's another Marconi corner. Costanzo wants to go quickly with Jasic. Daniel's ball in, not his best effort. Swept away by McKinley. And there's no Marconi players attacking this one. Well read by Yuli. Managed to cut off Fernandez's run. Beautifully weighted ball from Jasic, and Sekenes was thinking about number 2. Gorgeous touch to put himself in another good shooting position. This time he didn't catch it as well as he did for the goal. But Blacktown have got to sort that danger out. He's red hot at the moment. The Stallion striker. Nick O'Brien can't be getting caught there too often. Under the flight of the football. Gorgeous as the weight was from Jasic. Daniel had tumbled over. The referee's willing to play advantage though, because Marconi are building another dangerous attack. Busek off the right. Can hit them with his left as well. Thinks better of it. This is lovely, intricate play, and Bernie just missing the finishing touch. But still Blacktown can't get out. They just touched to the advantage of his old teammate, but Bernie's touch let him down for the second time in a couple of seconds. O'Brien scraps it forward. Blacktown really looking to go hard when they do win the ball back. And McKinley bundling over Brandon Vella. Marconi want the decision. It wasn't forthcoming. It's feeling they're not getting the rub of the green at the moment, the visitors. Bit of an aimless throw from McKinley. Almost fell to the advantage of Choi. Costanzo happy to put it over the hill on the far side. Just give the defence a breather after a little bit of a frantic moment. Blacktown have been able to create enough just to keep Marconi honest. Stallions have had the better of general play and have looked very dangerous going forwards, but it's not to say Blacktown haven't been without chances. There's half an appeal for a handball there. This ball deflected off Jack O'Brien's head towards Vella and Griffiths. will do it all again. McKinley. Towards Major. That was better directed. And Jack O'Brien did manage to get the back of his head on the ball, but it fell very nicely for Hilton. Just under 15 minutes until half-time. This game has gone to script to this point. Blacktown looking to change the status quo. Just see the energy of the Marconi players. Hurrying and hassling, and Costanzo's lending a hand defensively as well. They are all operating as one at the moment, particularly in those transition moments, both going forward and defensively. Everyone happy to lend a hand when called upon. It's been the difference here this afternoon, as it has been so many times this season for them. Ended their championship run indeed as well in 2024. Hoping to be at Combank Stadium again at the end of the year, putting themselves in pole position with 3 more points here. 2 24s going at it in Bandiera and Busek. It fell for Lockie Bayliss. Or James Bayliss, rather. Getting mixed up with his brother. Finger pointing and shouting going on amongst the Blacktown backline. Too aware of the danger. James Bayliss with the ball in. Almost reached Costanzo. It's a challenge left in by Danny Choi, but he looked as though he just held his ground. Costanzo straight back up to his feet. Doesn't mind being the antagonist, Dom Costanzo. He's been fired up. He's had words for everybody in the opening 35 minutes here. He's going to be restarted with a drop ball. Some complaints from the Marconi bench as to where that drop ball should have been given, but Marconi managed to win it back, and then it's Marko Jesic who's stepped offside. He's having to keep an eye across everything here. I feel it could all spill over in a moment or two. This has been building under the starting narrative of this match. Lovely ball, picked out Choi. His touch was just a little loose, and George Daniel with an agricultural clearance. Certainly wasn't having any of that. Blacktown have got a chance from an attacking set piece now. Damien Sekenis' goal is the difference here at Landon Stadium. Just shy of the half-hour mark. Blacktown looking to strike back before the break. Had a good little 5-minute period. Ball whipped in near post, away by Bayliss. McKinley waiting for it to drop and not striking it cleanly. Hilton happy to watch it fly high and wide. If you are joining us, haven't been watching too much of the Marconi Stallions over the last 12 months. 1, you should have been. 2, this is very typical of them. A team that like playing from in front, happy to have control of the game. I think Costanzo just launching that over the grandstand speaks to his frustration about his start in this game, despite his team having the lead. A couple of times in the last 5 or 10 minutes that Marconi have been caught offside. Ball still in motion when Nick O'Brien had played it. Major floated out to the left-hand side, trying to see more of the football. Blacktown want him on it more often. Marconi just so good at winning it back. Doesn't matter where they are on the pitch. And Jack O'Brien goes flying in on TJ Burney. And there's a couple of players happy to square up to Jack O'Brien. I said this had been brewing, and that challenge has sparked things on his former teammate, TJ Burney. The benches are involved. It's right in front of them. And Joe Moss has got a bit to sort out here. Damien Sekenis and Marko Jesic ran a long way to make their thoughts known about the challenge. It was one where Jack O'Brien had very little chance of winning the ball. I think more than anything, he was looking to lay a marker down and maybe just get his team playing at a different level of intensity. Cleaned up poor Tyrone Burney. He's reacquainted with this artificial turf at Landon Stadium. Wasn't really a key player in the opening game of the season out at Marconi Stadium, as we thought he might have been. Now the two experienced heads in Jesic and Major are brought together. Just to have a chat with the referee about what he's expecting in the final 5 minutes or so of this first half. It's been all action. Jack O'Brien's challenge there typifying that. He's trying to be the circuit breaker because Blacktown need to find a way to swing the momentum in their favour now. Something much easier said than done against the Stallions, and George Daniel blocking off Choi. They are good in that facet of the game at just slowing things down, ensuring teams can't go in transition against them. Set the defence and slow the tempo with this goal-to-nil advantage. Marty Fernandez is a player who could break things open if he's allowed to turn with the ball in more dangerous areas than that. Choi the same. No Mitch Marley is still for Blacktown City. Jack O'Brien did well after almost stepping on the football. Turned into a gorgeous turn pass James Bayliss. And he's turned it over to Burney. I was going to say it was a Carmaic turnover if you're a Marconi Stallions fan. And then they've managed to turn it over. So Blacktown with a couple of bites of the cherry left in this first half to try and find an equaliser. Down the right end for them. Fernandez. O'Brien left it behind. Now Campbell through the back of Sekenis. I don't think he was too fussed about whether he took the player or the ball there. Done well to control this game, referee Joe Moss, without just flashing cards everywhere. Two have gone Blacktown City's way. Marconi have kept their disciplinary slate clean to this point. Jesic, who's made a career of chasing down lost causes, almost made something of that. It's toe poke, only sending it behind. So as things sit, Marconi are able to hang on to this lead as they've managed to do so many times this season. Will re-establish their 5-point lead over Rockdale Illingdon ahead of another grand final rematch in a few weeks' time, a couple of weeks' time. They can get through this game unscathed and then manage to pick up the 3 points against Mount Druitt as they'll be expected to do next weekend. And you feel that could be the game if they manage to win it as well. Almost beds in their premiership in 2025. It's still the one thing this famous old football club have never achieved. Finishing top of the New South Wales premiership table at the end of a home and away season. Campbell. It's right into a cul-de-sac, and Burney once again is on the receiving end of attention from Blacktown. And again the card comes out. Maxime Yesh has been the man booked this time. Now Mark Crittenden is making his feelings known. Travis Major trying to refocus his team. He's not seen as much of the football as he would have liked in the opening half. Third booking for Blacktown. Two of them for challenges on their former charge, Tyrone Burney. One by Vela. The Swiss Army knife of Sekenis' weaponry. Stepping in to make sure Jackson Bandiera didn't get any further. But the majority of last season, Mr. Marconi, as he's known at Bosley Park as a fullback, has been used for the majority of this season in the centre and midfield, has shifted to central defender with Lenaric and Windust unavailable. Now Blacktown have got something going here, winning the ball up high, getting it wide to Major. Fernandez. Griffiths watching him all the way, then having to turn the ball behind. I think Peter Sekenis will be looking for the safety of the dressing rooms now. The momentum has shifted against his side in the last 5 minutes or so. Not to say they haven't looked controlled defensively, but Blacktown have just been building a few more dangerous attacks. Plenty of grabbing and grappling happening in there as Jack O'Brien gets set to deliver. And Ben Berry is up, scrapes the roof of the net and falls harmlessly over the crossbar. Well, he's tall timber. Ben Berry, a terrific target from those sort of situations. Goes by sticks because of the long legs. Tallest player out there on the pitch today. It's a well-directed ball in from Jack O'Brien. Blacktown still showing. They've got enough to worry Marconi if they're given opportunities more often than not. Now, Costanzo did well to time his run, to the displeasure of the Blacktown coaching staff. Nick O'Brien cuts out his low cross. McKinley sweeps it away. Choi not able to retrieve. Yuli doesn't mind a hit from this range. Skips in front of Henderson and safely into his chest. I've seen some spectacular Marconi goals over the last couple of weeks. Fourth official, Rowan Fisher, tells us we have 1 minute to be added on at the end of this first half. I think the referees might be just as keen to get back in the sheds as some of the players. It's been a game with plenty on the line. The intensity of the action that we've seen has underlined that fact so far this afternoon. We expected nothing less. Bayliss. Marconi could add a second. Feel it would almost put the result to bed. Barely been caught up from a goal behind this season. The Stallions, let alone two. Poor touch from McKinley. Allows Costanzo onto it. Bailed out by Ben Berry. Well-timed challenge. Daniel. Bayliss trying to use his pace. He did well. And Yesic got a touch. Just not quite enough purchase to steer it goalwards. And a second goal that would have really put Marconi in the driver's seat. It's been that way in any case over the opening 45 minutes. And they finally took a chance that came their way. Damien Sekenis with a superb bit of marksmanship. Turning on a dime and striking past Henderson to give the visitors a 0-0 advantage. Hilton had been called into action earlier in the first half, and despite the fact Blacktown were able to build some momentum towards the end of that first 45 minutes, they weren't able to find the telling strike. And so at the break, as the game becomes more and more fractious, it's Blacktown City 0, Marconi Stallions 1 at Landon Stadium. Welcome back to London Stadium. The second half about to get underway in this round 16 fixture between the Marconi Stallions and Blacktown City. It's the league leaders who have another lead at half-time, given to them by their top scorer this season, Damien Sekenis, pouncing on a moment just shy of the half-hour mark as the ball sprung to him on the edge of the area. A gorgeous turn and a strike to match. Blacktown City managing to work their way back into the contest towards the end of that first half, but they need to get forward more consistently in the second 45 minutes. Let's see if they can turn the tide. It's been such a difficult task against Marconi over the course of this season. Well, they've gone straight forward here. Travis Major and Danny Choi linking up. You feel that if they are to get back into this game, those two will have to have a big say. Along with Jack O'Brien, no changes for either team at the break. Just wonder how soon Mark Crittenden goes to his bench. Adam Berry is available again today. No game for him since May against Spirit FC due to injury. He could hold the key to unpick the lock that has been Marconi's defence over the course of this season. We'll be careful that they don't concede an early one down the other end either. Nick O'Brien has done a pretty good job of sweeping up those balls in behind for the Stallions. It's been a physical encounter. Card's been out of referee Joe Moss's pocket on a number of occasions. A couple of flashpoints that have marked the opening stages of this game. See if that builds come the second half and see if Marconi can give themselves the safety of a 2-goal advantage. They haven't given one of those up across the course of 2025. See Tyrone Burney getting down the right. He's been part of the story so far today. Two of the Blacktown City yellow cards for challenges on their former right fullback. Made the switch across to Bosley Park in the off-season. Been a fine pickup for Peter Sekenis and his coaching staff. Slotted in beautifully in that right back position. It's allowed Brandon Vella to move into midfield. A couple of the outgoings in the off-season. Daniel Bauman, the most notable, now playing his trade over in North America. Liam Yule's returned to the heart of midfield after missing the majority of the opening 3 months of the season. This is a nice little touch from Choi. Fernandez looked to be away. Just a little bit of a heavy touch as he made his way into the area. Not cleared by Griffiths, though. And then McKinley just clipped on the heels by Yule as he looked to cross. The first booking going the Stallions' way this afternoon. A wry smile from Liam Yule. He's not committed to many free kicks. Or too many fouls, I should say. What's Australian under-20s international. Just mentioning what a positive impact he's had. It's a little bit cruder challenge than we've seen from him so far this afternoon. It's given Blacktown an early chance to try and get an equaliser from this set piece. Jack O'Brien's delivery has been pretty good this afternoon. Ben Berry a target in there as he always is. Travis Major lurking. Lachlan Campbell's always good for a goal from these sort of situations. Berry's the target. It's over the head of Fernandez. Took a touch off Busek. And the corner goes Blacktown's way. Argument there might have been a nick off the midriff of Travis Major as he saw that ball out of play. Referee didn't agree with that assessment. Weather just cooling off here in Sydney's west as the sun begins to set. Long shadows making their way across the artificial surface at London Stadium. O'Brien over to take this corner. Major made something of it. His header went up rather than goalward. And then Yesh through a forest of bodies, but Hilton had a pretty good view. We had a great angle on that from our broadcast position. It was a little channel that just welcomed the ball through it and into the grateful arms of the Marconi goalkeeper. Stallions looking for another clean sheet today. Been so stingy defensively over the course of the season. Talked plenty about the defence already. Just 10 goals conceded. Up to their 16th game this afternoon. Blacktown trying to add one to that tally. As Major makes his way into the area. Got a second bite, headed clear by Griffiths. Further away by Yuli. Stenzo's not able to make the touch and then taken out by Sir Kenneth. Returns to his feet with a wry smile, bit of friendly fire, and leaves a foot in on Danny Choi. Sir Kenneth leaving a foot on Choi as well. He's in the wars. The Blacktown striker. Very forced to just hoik the ball away under the press, and now Sir Kenneth has found his way onto the turf. He's holding an area that no onlooker would envy. Thankfully, that's one hopefully he'll be able to make his way through, but it'll take him a moment or two. It's his goal that separates us here at Landon Stadium. Beautifully taken. Underlines what a superb first season he's having in Marconi Stallions colours. Big boots to fill in the form of James Temulkowski, departed for the Western Sydney Wanderers after making such a difference. Sir Kenneth is having a similar impact in 2025. Thought he might have had a free kick there, but yes, did have front position. Now Blacktown can make their way forwards quickly. Choi along the line. And returning it to Major, whose touch betrays him. Appreciative of the effort, but berating himself, the Blacktown skipper. Talked a lot about Tyrone Burney, but George Daniel's been terrific at left fullback for Marconi as well this season. Barely missed a minute. He, along with Burney, has been two of the first names on Peter Sir Kenneth's team sheet so far this season. Put Marko Jesic and James Bayliss in that category. There have been too many Marconi players over the last couple of years that have had poor seasons. Long search for silverware. The laugh being shared between Peter Sir Kenneth and Mark Crittenden on the touchline. Peter Sir Kenneth, you might have picked that up, so that Mark Crittenden having a word to the referees as they walked off at half-time has worked wonders. Very much tongue-in-cheek. Great respect between these two sides, despite the fractious nature of their contests on occasion. Always know there's meaning when those two take to the field, because they're always up around the top of the table competing for silverware. So many times in important games over the last 3 or 4 seasons, most notably over the last 2. Nice bit of work from Costanzo. Didn't have the finest first half, but he's growing in influence in the second. Burney carrying the ball is something Blacktown don't want to see, although the output there was below his best. Pressure from Marconi as Blacktown look to play through midfield. It's unrelenting and managed to get through it this time. Kinley looking for the early ball. Griffiths almost tripping over his own feet. And a really clever ball to find Vella and get around the pressure of Choi. Combination of intensity, willingness to run for each other, a solid structure, and then some superb talent when the ball is at their feet. Been an equation that not too many teams have been able to deal with. Stata brought to you before half-time. Just 3 losses in their last 33. Ben Berry and Damien Sir Kenneth coming together. Sir Kenneth has been at the centre of a few flashpoints over the course of this game, and the referee Joe Moss is not too impressed with what he's seeing, so he's calling everyone in for a chat. Controlled this game with his personality as much of anything. Marko Jesic and Travis Major must be credited as well. They've kept things under wraps for the most part. But a really high quality display of football on all facets. Yesh battling for it. Some subplots begin to just expand to become central tenets of this story that's unraveling in front of us. Yesh just getting himself involved more and more in this second half. Just wants to find that cutting ball forward for Travis Major. That's what's been missing to this point. Bayless dropping right back in to try and get Marconi out of their own half. Lovely turn from Bernie. He's having a fine game on his return to Landon Stadium. Trying to underlap with Busek. Campbell coming across to slice out the attack. Marconi look as though they've got the bit between their teeth though. Bernie for Yasic. Campbell again in close attendance, but then turning it over. Yuli picking out Costanzo, just waiting for it to drop, so McKinley's able to shut him down. Uses Daniel as the decoy. Now back for Yuli. Again, he's looking to line up Liam Yuli. Henderson made his way across fairly sharply to hold the chance as well. Griffiths getting to it ahead of O'Brien. Went down with a big cry of pain. His team have continued without him, and now he's joining back in the attack. Major couldn't square it for him, though. Sloppy touch from Yuli. And then Bayless bails out his midfield partner. Fernandez takes a big hack at the legs of George Daniel, and he's going to find himself in the referee's notebook as a result. Those moments just all going Marconi's way at the moment. They made a habit of that through this terrific run. Fernandez, a hard done by party in his story. Against his former club as well. Sharing a laugh with Liam Yuli through midfield. George Daniel's not laughing. Didn't tickle. We mentioned we might be seeing Adam Berry sooner rather than later, so potentially a big moment in this game just before the hour mark. Fernandez's booking is his last edition. Another big moment here is Jesper Weber. Gets a first grade debut for Blacktown City. Moving to the club after signing with Apia in the summer. Made the switch across to Blacktown City. He's got one goal in his 13 games in the 20s this season. Turned 20. He's going to turn 21 next month. Player who's known around this competition for his contributions to the Bulls Academy side over the last couple of seasons. And the addition for Mark Crittenden, see if his running power is able to bring a change in the tempo and the momentum of this game. Adam Berry, such a key part of the 2022 championship team. And Mark Crittenden asking his team to just add a little bit of intensity, drifting out of this game. Marconi been able to wrestle back the momentum, playing on the front foot, and this is exactly how they envision the second half playing out. Love a goal to add to their dominance. Bernie's in a shooting position. And he's clattered into by Campbell. Didn't get any of the ball. And now there's another dangerous shooting opportunity for the visitors. Campbell a little clumsy coming across, but the situation was dangerous enough that he knew he had to get there in some fashion. preferred to get the ball, but had to stop Bernie from getting a shot away. He's already forced one good save from Caden Henderson this afternoon. So now Jesic assessing his options. I think there's only one. Scored a free kick from a very similar position late last season against Manly United at Cromer Park. Proved to be the winner that day. Can he come up with another captain's goal here? 5 in a very tall wall for Caden Henderson. Hush descends around Landon Stadium. A steady noise about it, straight into the wall from Marko Jesic. Not his best attempt. Well, there's not too many black shirts forwards. Choi the lone chaser. Much ado about nothing in the end. Coney subs returning to the bench, or actually moving out to begin their warm-up. So just Peter Sekenis maybe looking to just steady the ship a little bit in the next half hour. Bandiera, a wrestling match with Bernie, and the Stallions right back as one out again. Busek toppled by Campbell, and there's just been too many for the liking of the referee. The Blacktown fans don't like it. You can hear that from the far side. A stand that has filled up in the sunshine. Just a number of times Lachlan Campbell has been penalised going against him as much as anything there. Another situation in which his need to get across in cover. It's cost his side a free kick. 5th booking of the afternoon going Blacktown's way, compared to just 1 for Marconi and Liam Yulee. Bayless has taken over this responsibility from Dom Costanzo over the course of the afternoon. His favoured side curling in towards goal. It's not been dealt with by Blacktown. Webber getting involved, his first touch since coming on, not the area he wanted it. Griffiths fires it across. Major doing the defending. It's all a bit backwards out there. O'Brien leaves Daniel in a heap on the turf. Referee happy to play advantage because Marconi are building something dangerous again. Costanzo and Jesic. Expect him to at least force a save there. The Marconi skipper. Is that a nice height for him as well? Just didn't quite get the purchase in his jump. Meant that the ball flew high and wide of Caden Henderson's net. Berry working his way out of trouble nicely. This is what Blacktown have been waiting for. Choi and Webber streaming towards goal. Daniel back in cover. Choi's ball on his less favoured right foot. And you just wonder, had it been on the other side of the pitch, would the delivery have been any sweeter? Bernie running his way out of trouble. That's the situation Blacktown are looking to build in this second half. Trying to generate a situation in which they're able to run the ball forward with numbers in support. Those chances have been few and far between this afternoon. Foul's gone against Mate Busek. Got to the ball second. Everyone just takes a deep breath. It's barely had a moment to rest so far in this second half. Game played at the intensity you would expect between two of the title contenders. Marconi underlining the fact that they are the best team in the competition at the moment. There was a coming together between Sekenis and Berry. Certainly the Blacktown defender looked as though he had a hand on the shoulder, not enough for a free kick to be blown. And that would have been a doubly big decision because Sekenis was bearing down on goal. If he had blown the free kick, we feel the red card would have had to come out. Perhaps a let off for Blacktown, who get forward in transition. And O'Brien, was a whisker away. Vella brilliant in covering defence, and it actually took a deflection as well off Jack O'Brien to go behind for a goal kick rather than a corner. Well, just a couple of big moments, ones that won't live long in the memory, except for those who were here, or indeed were watching on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And those couple of moments seem to have just swung the momentum slightly Blacktown City's way. Can Marconi wrest it back in their favour? Costanzo with a calming touch. Now it's Blacktown's turn to try and press. Beautiful bit of work from Hilton under pressure. Judging it perfectly for Busak and Bernie and Yesic. Busak continued his run forwards. Picked out Ben Berry rather than a player in blue. Really are seeing some high quality stuff here. Touches from both sets of players. And the ball over the top from Jack O'Brien. Major holds his head to the heavens. The knowledge that the flag was going up against him. The second half's been waiting for its defining moment. You feel it might be coming in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Daniel. Not his best ball forward. The former Mariners Academy player. The same can be said of Sekenis. They were there together, those two, 3 or 4 years ago. Another cheap turnover from Blacktown, though. It's given the Stallions a chance to get forward. Costanzo. McKinley's been close in attention all afternoon. Bayliss with space to operate in through midfield. Bayliss again. Really intricate stuff from Marconi in the last 5 minutes. Is it going to bear fruit? Bernie for Busak. And now Bayliss. Yuli. He's had a couple of these chances at the top of the box this afternoon. Again, thinks better of the shot. Costanzo. He doesn't mind a hit from there. And it wasn't too far wide either. The groans told the story. Heart in mouth moment for the Blacktown faithful. Feel the second goal would have killed the game off. Not quite to be. Don Costanzo has been on the periphery for the majority of this game, but he doesn't need a second invitation when he does find space in which to shoot. His goal-scoring output has been a little down, as the majority of the Stallions players this season. Haven't had one runaway leader in terms of goal-scoring. Sekenis going to the top of that list with just his 5th this afternoon. That's the goal that separates the two teams with just a quarter of the game left to play. Choi trying something clever. Griffiths reading the danger. His second touch whisked it away from Lachlan Campbell, and now Marconi have numbers. Busak for Yesic. Sekenis. He tried to go short for Busak rather than playing him in behind. Game starting to stretch. Jack O'Brien. Weber. He's got such terrific running power. Cross only found Griffiths, though. Yuli aware of the danger. He and Bayliss work it out between them. The wind comes out of Blacktown's attack. They are just so good at putting out spot fires, Marconi, in moments like that. Lachlan Griffiths, titanic at the back again today. Alongside Brandon Vella. Not in his preferred position, but has fit into this Marconi system so beautifully again today. And the system is the star as much as the individuals who make it possible. The buy-in across the entirety of the 11, and indeed the squads. Bayliss just running into Jack O'Brien off the ball. Meanwhile, Costanzo's ball infield is cut out by Campbell and turned over. O'Brien has a chance to find something telling. Major. Second lot of substitutions coming here for Blacktown City shortly. Keanu Moore is poised to join the action. Poor turnover from Bandiera. That's not a sentence you say too often in commentary. Sekenis. Stretching leg from Ben Berry. Interrupted the attack, didn't stop it. And Costanzo, he's second in 5 minutes, that has grazed the side netting. Marconi getting the better of the exchange. And Lachlan Campbell, sitting on that yellow card, is set to be removed as Blacktown City go looking for the equaliser. It's an attacking sub. Moore wearing the number 9 will be deployed further upfield as the hosts go to a back 4. Slap of the hands with assistant Matty Bingley. Makes his way from the field. Is Moore the answer? That will be the question. It's a mixed fortune since signing from the Northern New South Wales Premiership, whereas one of the players of last season with Broadmeadow. Oh, could the change ring immediate results? Jack O'Brien! Oh, the deflections off the crossbar. You feel like that was the moment for Blacktown, and their supporters cannot believe it. It would have been a big slice of fortune, but perhaps that's what they were looking for, needing this afternoon. Just hasn't fallen their way, and so Marconi now riding their luck a little as well. Those moments have been so rare this afternoon. Just a single save having been made by Hilton across the course of the 70 minutes we've played. But Blacktown City were that close to another equaliser. This game has had so many similarities between the opening game of the season between these two. An equaliser in the second half would have just added to that storyline. Not to be yet. But Blacktown have wrestled the momentum back in the last 5 minutes. It's been a gripping watch. Match of round 16. You expect nothing different. And Keanu Moore, Marconi feel should have been pinged for a foul there. Play has been stopped so that James Bayliss can receive attention for a potential head injury, but there's not a free kick going. Peter Sekenis is going to be careful he doesn't talk himself into trouble here. Joe Moss is making his way over to the near side. I think Joe Moss has had enough. Rowan Fisher is in attendance as well. Bayliss's well-being most immediate thought from us up in the commentary box, and he seems to be returning to his feet. Sekenis getting away with a ticking off there from the referee. Become increasingly vocal through this second half, and it might just have all reached a crescendo with that ball that struck the crossbar. Closest either team has come to finding the second goal of this game. Still split only by Damien Sekenis' strike midway through the first half. Bayliss is back to his feet and will be rejoining the action shortly. Put in a typically dogged performance through the centre of midfield. A couple of moments of quality to go with it. Jack O'Brien getting there, knowing he couldn't do anything constructive, so just knocking the ball out for a throw rather than conceding the goal kick. Asked if the changes were coming. Franco Maya, one of the best wingers across the competition, would be in the starting lineup for any of the other 15 clubs across the competition, but Marconi's form has meant, since his injury, he's not been able to get back in the starting 11. He's set to join the action here. Young with Julian Monge. Brother Fabian, of course, Melbourne Victory at the moment. It's been part of their run to the A-League Men's Grand Final. First changes for Marconi with About 15 minutes to play. Don Costanzo close to finding a second a couple of times in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Not to be for him today, but he'll be happy to take home 3 points again. Liam Bewley, all action through the centre of midfield, given the last 15 minutes off. Monge gives them a little bit more size through midfield. Lose out a little bit on the ball playing ability. Sakinis and Berry are in another wrestling match. Both had hold of one another, so play's allowed to continue. Henderson goes route one. And Jesper Weber had started in an offside position. His first grade debut for Blacktown City. One they've been waiting on just to reach that level he was at with the Bulls Academy. Back to full fitness and right in the midst of this big premiership tussle. Marconi again showing they are the front runners for a reason here. Franco Meyer's first touch since coming on is to put the ball out for a Blacktown City throw. 15 minutes to play. Alex Molchov, it's been a delight to bring you all the action from this one so far. Expecting another twist in the storyline before we end this afternoon. Reminder, catching this one through the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. You can also find us across the socials at NPL NSW. On Instagram this afternoon, Jude Dolan has been bringing you all the behind the scenes from Landon Stadium. You'll be able to catch match report of this one, all the highlights from the 7 games we've had across the NPL New South Wales men's this week. Across Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just search at NPL NSW or NPL New South Wales on Facebook. Blacktown trying to give us another highlight to bring you in the closing 15 minutes here, as they did at Marconi Stadium in the first game of the season. Balls out like that from Nick O'Brien are not going to help their cause though. Monge making his way forward and just hesitated at the crucial moment. Beautiful ball out. This one was better from Nick O'Brien. Now Adam Berry. Just provided that measure of experience and ball playing quality through midfield since coming on. Not the best ball from Major. Left Weber short. He did well to make something of it. Berry again. His radar a little off. McKinley getting caught under the flight of the ball. Not able to keep it in. Marconi will take their time over every restart now. Goal to nil lead. They've had to be wary. Blacktown City have struck the crossbar in the second half, but they haven't been able to find the equaliser. Deflected effort from Jack O'Brien that had James Hilton beaten. Saved by his upright. Henderson's had a couple of saves to make. And Costanzo has brushed the side of his net. Marconi haven't been able to add to their lead. Hoping they're not punished for that in the final stages. Jesic, too strong for Bandiera and then dragged down by Moore. Marconi will be happy with just the free kick here to take a little more sting out of this game. It's been an improvement from Blacktown on their last outing here against Sydney FC. Not that that was a bar with which Mark Crittenden will want to be measuring them by. Still a chance to pick up a point here. Maya for Monge. Vela and Daniel played it behind Sakinis, which gave Berry something to chase, and then Sakinis flew in on Ben Berry, and that little battle that's been brewing down this near side results in the Marconi striker finding his name in the book. Mark Crittenden just having a word to his centre back. Checking it was all good. It's a very quick thumbs up. Came into this Blacktown City side, Ben Berry, in the midst of that 2022 championship campaign. Stood up so brilliantly for a young player finding his way in first grade football. Stood up to a pretty tough task again today. Fortunately, it's looking as though his team are going to fall short. All Nick O'Brien can do is clear his lines. Midweek Cup football coming for both these teams as well. Over the next couple of weeks, Marconi have got another Derby d'Italia to come from Lambert Park on Wednesday night. Place in the national rounds of the Australian Cup, as it was in round 6 a year ago. Marconi will feel they deserve very much to be amongst that company, given their form over the last 12 months. Blacktown City taking their game as well to this Wednesday night. It'll be a 7:30 kickoff as well, as they look to book another national stage place and be playing in the semi-finals of the Waratah Cup once again. Marconi looking to reverse the result they had against Apia at Lambert Park in that game last season. Major and Burney falling over each other. Griffiths across to sweep it all up, and then Jack O'Brien leaves the centre back in a heap on the floor. He's got to be careful, Jack O'Brien. He does already have a booking. I think the referee will be saying, that's your last chance, Jack. See if Mike Crittenden is sensing that danger as well. A couple of substitutions. A doubly special day for the Webbers, as Lucas makes his first appearance for the first grade side. Sebastian Hayward's been in and out of the starting 11. Joe McKinley is removed. And on the far side, Jackson Bandiera is finding his way off. Both those substitutions like for like, the two wing fullbacks being replaced. Hayward's been utilised more through the centre of the park. Lucas Webber getting his first taste of first grade football. Some task, marking up against Franco Maya and Tyron Burney. Been singing their praises all afternoon. And Webber just left a foot in. His first contribution is going to be conceding a free kick. Marconi have seen this so many times over the first 4 months of this season. An early lead. Had their chances to take a second. Maya's got a chance to try and bring a second here for the Stallions. Goes into the near post. Jesic was lurking. Just too far in front of the Stallions skipper. Choi in a battle with Daniel, but the Marconi fullback was well positioned. Happy to see it out of play. Cameron Wright's ball skills letting him down there on the near side. Jack O'Brien rather more frustrated return of the football. The only thing this game's been missing that it's had over the last 4 occasions they've played each other is a red card. There's a few Blacktown City players walking that tightrope. Burney. Again too quick for Nick O'Brien. He's looking to make his way past Lucas Webber as well. He's done that. How's the ball? Only picked out Ben Berry this time. Bayliss will keep the attack alive. Marconi don't need a second. Just looking to hold on to the football at the moment. Maya with Berry in close attendance. But you see the skill of the Uruguayan-born winger. And now it's Busek who's flipped out to the left-hand side. They really are getting at them down the flanks now, Marconi. That final ball just lacking a little bit of quality. But it's down the wrong end for Blacktown. Feel that sliced strike from Jack O'Brien. That strike the crossbar might be the defining moment of this second half. Unless they can build something late here. Keep reminding you, they did in the opening rounds out at Marconi Stadium. It looked as though it was flitting out to a 1-0 Marconi win on that occasion as well. Before Jacob Kresnar, the most unlikely of scorers, popped up to make the difference. Bring Blacktown home with a point. Marconi's lead set to extend back out to 5 points at the end of the afternoon. Marconi's focus will turn to that cup tie in midweek, then to game on Saturday against Mount Druitt Town Rangers, and then it's Rockdale waiting in round 18 for them. And another rematch of that grand final in 2024. Yesic, can Meyer add the last bit of quality? Blast it in! When he got in that position, it was never in any doubt. Perfect pass, blistering finish. And Marconi have now sewed up those 3 points. Their lead at the top back out to 5. Franco Meyer hammering home the point. There was nothing subtle about that finish, as there is with so much of his football. And Blacktown's inability to find the equaliser means that they've been caught cold. And for the first time since 2020, Marconi are set to take all 3 points from Landon Stadium. Call comes from the bench to slow things down, and that tense nature on the touchline is just eased a little. Immediately, Sir Kenneth goes to his bench. That game on Wednesday very much in the picture now. And so Marko Jesic giving his bow, Mate Busek. He's played his role. Yes, it's not a day where he's got his name on the score sheet, but has provided so much in terms of leadership and just giving the Blacktown City defence a headache when he dropped into midfield. Chimenti takes his spot. Shawad Resai, who's been a regular off the bench as well. And here's his first touch. Nick O'Brien managing to clean up what looked like a very tricky situation. Moore and Hilton off his line. The flag went up as Webber became involved by putting pressure on the Marconi goalkeeper. Haywood and Rezai, the two substitutes clashing. This game's just going to tick away now. Marconi have done enough. This 2-0 scoreline, it's almost been their trademark over the course of the season. Fourth time in their last 5 games. But they're going to end as the third time in their last 5 games in the league, that they're going to finish as 2-0 winners. Only time they haven't been able to keep a clean sheet over the last month or so was in that 3-0 defeat to Wollongong. Jack O'Brien trying to spoil that record, but his shot is easily claimed by James Hilton. An 8th clean sheet of the season is brewing now will be level most in the competition. As the artificial light begins to take over from natural here at Landon Stadium, the sun has come down on Blacktown's chances in this game as well. Maya got the second after Sekenis' opener. Bernie, been one of the players of the match in his return to Landon Stadium. Bore the brunt of some close attention from the City side in the first half, but he's played through that. 3 minutes indicated by our fourth official, Rowan Fisher, to be added on. George Daniel trying to get it on the fun. Haywood cuts it out. Choi anticipating the contact, happy to go down. Marconi fans who've travelled out to Blacktown today have had more to cheer, having a fun team to follow in 2025 for the supporters. Sekenis going to see out the 90 minutes for the first time in a little while. Been hurried and hassled. He's been involved in the physical side of the game as well at different times across the afternoon. Stood up to it brilliantly. His all-round game has been so impressive in his first season in Marconi Sky Blue. The Sky Blue kit that's still only seen the one loss. Over 20 games in League and Cup. Awkward bobbling ball for Henderson. She's able to send high, and then Maya just bundling over Travis Major. The two sevens coming together. Here's Lucas Webber. Nick O'Brien. His radar, his ball playing has always been spot on this afternoon. And Jack O'Brien leaving one short, a tired pass. Waiting to see the advantage, but Marconi with a 2-0 advantage. In terms of the scoreline, be more than happy for that to be blown. Isaiah Cross, and that's been the story of the day, really. Marconi's pressure, willingness of the collective to defend for one another, as notable as ever. They claim another big 3 points, their first win at Landon Stadium since 2020. Restores their 5-point lead at the top of the ladder. Sending the message, we are Premiership favourites, come and catch us. Some big games over the next month, not least that cup clash with RPL Leichhardt on Wednesday night, but the job has been done here in a very professional manner once again. Damien Sekenis getting the goal just before the half-hour mark. A gorgeous turn and a sweet strike before Franco Maya blasted the ball home from no more than 6 yards, giving Henderson no chance. Blacktown hit the crossbar in the second half, but that was the closest they came to getting themselves on the score sheet. It's another disappointing day at Landon Stadium. The records has not been the best this season. It's been a pleasure to bring you the match of round 16 in the NPL New South Wales men's. The table toppers taking the points again. Alex Molchanoff signing off from Landon Stadium, where it's finished. Blacktown City 0, Marconi Stallions 3.